Nintendo Switch has some huge news that you do not want to miss. We got a brand new firmware update that was just released today that features some hidden changes. The Nintendo Switch eShop just released a calculator app, so enjoy your new excuse for bringing your Nintendo Switch to class. And OLED display firm talks Nintendo Switch Pro, which has once again reignited the Switch Pro hype. We have some bad news for Animal Crossing fans who were hoping for an island expansion, and 2 classic games were just announced for the Nintendo Switch, and so much more. Hey, what's up everyone? Wes here. Welcome back to another Nintendo Switch news video. The Nintendo Switch has once again released another firmware update. Version 12.0.2 is officially out now, and according to the official patch notes from Nintendo, as is tradition, the update features some more juicy system stability updates. The blog says, and I quote, version 12.0.2 firmware update contains general system stability improvements to enhance the user's experience. Luckily, data miners have already started working on confirming the actual changes in the update. According to Oatmeal Dome, the following things have been changed: core system components, the Bluetooth driver, and the application manager, and other minor bug fixes. It's also worth noting that the previous firmware contained a JavaScript exploit which made it possible to inject custom JavaScript code to the system. We don't have any official confirmation that this was indeed patched, but I would imagine that this was at the top of Nintendo's list for hot fixing. So until then, we will have to wait for data miners to confirm. At this point, the Nintendo Switch is probably one of the most stable devices of all time, especially with how often they improve the stability, which isn't a bad thing, but come on guys, we still don't have themes, folders, or even Bluetooth audio support. Now, speaking of Bluetooth, this update does have changes to the Bluetooth driver. I doubt that means we're getting audio support, but either way, they are seemingly doing some heavy work to the Bluetooth driver. Moving on to our next bit of news, the Nintendo Switch just hot dropped the most advanced game ever called the Calculator. Trolling aside, the scientific calculator app released today for the wild price of $10. According to Nintendo's description for the app, a scientific calculator with a clear, easy to read multi-line display, which should help with those not so easy to do math problems. Calculator has an appealing, modern, and practical design, sure to be popular with students and engineers. Do you know what I find the most crazy part about this news? The Nintendo Switch got a calculator app before the iPad. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think this is a negative thing, as it could definitely come in handy, especially if you're trying to play some games during class. The calculator app will be an easy diversion. The fact that it's $10 seems a little bit cash grabby, especially when most people can just use their phone. Regardless though, if you ever felt the urge to use a calculator on your Nintendo Switch, it's now possible for the low cost of $10. Now for our next story, the Universal Display Corp mentioned the Nintendo Switch Pro by name in their Q1 investors call. The CEO and director of the OLED firm, Stephen V. Abramson, stated during the call, in the gaming market, there are reports for the first time Nintendo has selected an OLED screen for their new Nintendo Switch Pro. Due to the OLED benefits of higher contrast and faster response times, the adoption of OLEDs continues to expand and is fueling the multi-year OLED capex growth cycle which we are in. Stephen goes on to mention that in March, Samsung Display announced that it will aggressively expand its OLED presence in the gaming market. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't give us any new information, as these are just investors discussing the previous reports of the Switch revision by Bloomberg, which was reported earlier this year that the Switch revision will be utilizing a Samsung OLED display and is rumored to be starting production in June of this year. Moving on, we have to talk about the big leak for Animal Crossing New Horizons, which supposedly confirmed an island expansion update coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons in the future. According to the leak, data miners have discovered in the game code that the southern line of the island has doubled in size, which at the same time was reported could mean an island expansion of some sort is coming, or that there will be another island added. According to the data miner, there has also been some changes made to the game's camera, which suggests a rework of the camera is coming, or new abilities and angles are being added. As cool as all of this sounds, unfortunately we have some bad news. The data mine information was likely taken out of context, and according to Mayor Mori, who is the YouTube creator who first reported on the leak, stated, and I quote, "The adjustments made to the South Shore baselines has been given some context, and it seems that this particular adjustment isn't relevant to the main island, at least for now. It turns out that the outdoor camera perimeters are used in several instances, such as the New Horizons Island or a Mystery Island tour, for example, which obviously all use different values given the areas surrounding them differ in size." I'm not gonna lie with you guys, I was really hoping we would get something as significant as this added to Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I guess we'll have to go back to waiting. Next up, we just got a new update for Pokemon Sword and Shield. According to the patch notes, both Sword and Shield fixed the issue where some Pokemon icons were not properly displayed during online or local wireless battles, and several issues have been fixed to improve gameplay experience. Nintendo and Game Freak are the best at giving the most useless patch notes ever. Granted, this could be just a very minimal update, but either way, you should definitely be on the lookout for any other changes you may find. Moving right along to our next big news, we have two classic games that were just announced for the Nintendo Switch. Lucasfilms and Disney are bringing two LucasArts classic games to the Nintendo Switch on June 29th. Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol were announced as a double pack costing $15. These are solid games. If you haven't played either, I definitely recommend giving them a try, although $15 is quite a bit, and it's kind of weird paying full price for games that could easily be added to the Nintendo Switch Online subscription that we are already paying for, especially since these are SNES games. Maybe one day we'll get some more value for our online subscription, but I digress. Last but not least, we have a new update dropping for Minecraft Dungeons on the Nintendo Switch called the Hidden Depths DLC. Along with that, a new update will be released with free content including raid captains. According to the update description, dive into a new Minecraft Dungeons adventure just in time for summer. Minecraft Dungeons is making a splash on May 26th with the next DLC, Hidden Depths. This won't be your average day at the beach though. You'll have to fight a spreading corruption that has reached the darkest depths of the ocean. There's also plenty of free content and updates alongside the DLC release. Not only are there new enchantments and breathtaking new levels, but there are also a brand new feature called raid captains, which are super challenging new enemies that will change the way you play the game. Now, I haven't played much of Minecraft Dungeons. This update does look intriguing. I don't know if it's going to bring me back to the game, but either way, I'm excited to check it out at the end of the month. That's going to wrap it up with today's Nintendo Switch news. Thanks for watching. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you on the next video.